LinkedIn Live, feel free to use the comment section below to send in any questions. I'm really keen to keep this dynamic and happy to answer your questions that pop up front of mind. Feel free to just hit me up. If you're listening to the recording, then feel free to email me at jack@preparelikeapro.com with any of your specific questions or queries, or perhaps follow-ups from these 4 tips. I've also got our high performance certificate. It's a 4-week course. Week 1 will be around career planning. Week 2, how to develop a professional network. Week 3, how to maximize the application process and really stand out. Obviously, strength and conditioning is highly competitive. So there's some tips and tricks around how to maximize your cover letter and your application process to ensure you have your best chance to make the interview stage. And then ultimately, week 4, to wrap it up, there'll be 10 coaches that I'll be mentoring on this course. And all 10 of them will have a crack at interviewing. So we'll do a scenario-based, and it's a great opportunity to practice in front of some like-minded coaches and get some feedback. But ultimately, if you haven't presented to an interview panel before, it can be quite daunting. So by practicing on all of us and getting some feedback, you'll be able to no doubt learn from the other coaches and see how they present, but also get some feedback on from myself, on how you can better enhance your ability to show that club that you're ready to make an impact and help the club move forward in the role that you're going for. So if that's of interest to you, we do have a discount that will expire in August. So hit me up. Like I said, it's limited to 10 people. I'll be running this certificate. It's actually the inaugural certificate. So it's our first of its kind that I'll be running in October. So if you're interested, let me know. I've got a discount that will last until the rest of August. So if you're interested, hit me up and I will send you more details, or you can just book a free discovery call in our link, which you can find on our website, preparelikeapro.com. But let's get straight into it. So do you have a strength and conditioning hobby, or do you have a strength and conditioning career? So to kick it off, obviously first, and strength and conditioning is probably something that wasn't that popular of a title 10 years ago. But I think in the fitness industry, we tend to have trends and buzzwords, and certainly strength and conditioning in the private sector is quite a buzzword over the last sort of 5 years. Where there weren't many performance spaces in Australia, there's now lots of private sector high performance gyms, and anyone from a fitness trainer to a personal trainer to a degree qualified strength and conditioning coach will title themselves a strength and conditioning coach. So ultimately, number one, whether it's a hobby or a coach, are you qualified? Are you degree qualified? Do you understand strength and conditioning principles and how to apply those methods with different types of athletes in different contexts as well, whether it be the different sports, from field sports to track and field to a injured population in a rehab reconditioning situation compared to managing a large group. So that's critical. Are you qualified? Have you got your bachelor's? Have you worked through, for those in Australia, the Strength and Conditioning Association levels and criterias to ultimately identify as a true strength and conditioning coach, in my opinion. Of course, you can be a personal trainer and run an online business and call yourself a strength and conditioning coach online. No one's stopping you from doing that. But in my opinion, to be qualified as a strength and conditioning coach, which means that you want to work in pro sport and you want to work in, whether that be clubland or in a institution like the AIS, for example, the absolute base level would be a Bachelor of Sports Science. More often than not, nowadays, it's going to be a master's degree in human movement or sports science. So I think that criteria is quite fitting for the private sector as well. If there's athletes that you're working with that are injured and wanting to get back to their performance, or they're working with you to perform, to maximize their athleticism to help them on their game day, I think you should be degree qualified. So you've got that base foundational knowledge. So that would be number one. Number two, are you invested in your own development? So are you participating in courses? Are you attending workshops? Are you learning from other peers that have been in the position that you want to be in the future or currently? Perhaps they've experienced your role for a number of years and you want to learn off them. And of course, early days while you're doing your degree, are you exposing yourself to the environment? So through placements and even in the off season, are you maximizing your time by hopefully shadowing into some programs to be able to see how they go about their work, and ultimately that can be some of the best development is speaking to other practitioners and learning about how they go about their craft and how some of those takeaways can apply to your role. So number two, are you invested? There's some of the ways that you can invest. Yes, that's going to cost money, but ultimately, like any craft or any skill set, if you're truly invested, you're going to need to have to spend money to realize your potential. And strength and conditioning coaching is no different. So I think if strength and conditioning is a hobby for you, it's a passion project, then by all means, you can just simply use what's out there that's free. There's plenty of blog posts, plenty of articles, newsletters, yeah, that's fine if it's not a real professional sort of goal or ambition that you have. But if you want to work at the highest level, then having some investment in your development is going to be key to really, because ultimately you only know what you know. So unless you're actually in an environment where you're learning every day and applying your craft, then you need to try and come up with other ways that you can develop yourself. And often early days, it's either putting in your time or spending money. Do you have the support networks? This more leans in towards mentors, colleagues. So what's your environment like? In early days, for example, for myself, when I was in my fourth year, because I started strength and conditioning late, I was personal trainer for sort of my first 7-8 years, and then decided that I wanted to work with pro athletes. So I started my sports science degree when I was 26. Or 25, one of the two. And then I started working at a semi-pro football club, Box Hill Hawks. So I had that environment that I could learn from and really be a fly on the wall to start with, and then start to take on more responsibilities as I built trust and experience in that program. And then secondly, from there, it was also working in a high school setting. So I was working in a private high school, Haileybury, with their rugby and rowing environment. That was you're learning off, as I was only strength and conditioning coach in that in those roles and those sports. I was largely working off other coaches, whereas so like your director of sport, your head coach, and the lines coaches. Whereas at Box Hill Hawks, there was other strength and conditioning coaches. Sean Murphy, who was full-time at the time running the program. He was full-time at Hawthorn while managing the VFL program. So a really experienced coach. So I was learning off him. We had Chris Ross, who was the 2IC strength and power coach. He was part-time interning at the Hawthorn Football Club while leading the strength program. So there was other coaches and of course, James Russell, who was looking after the rehab as well as the long-term athlete development program. So there's other coaches that I could learn off and see how they went about their work and ask lots of questions. And that's a great position to be in. But at the start, if I didn't have that opportunity, then I would invest in a mentor and seek someone externally and pay them largely probably for one-on-one time for some guidance. So if you don't have mentors in your environment, make sure to seek those, as I think I'm a strong believer that you'll learn most through your actions and running and doing and taking on programs. But ultimately, like I said before, you only know what you know, so you won't even be aware of how you can do better unless you get feedback. And that's where asking lots of questions, particularly when things are going well, why did you get that result? And equally when things don't go to plan, review and reflect on what you could have done differently, and those dialogues that you're having with more experienced practitioners where they'll see things that you didn't even notice. So that's really, really important. And like I said, it goes back to the number two, are you invested? If you don't have access to a professional environment with more experienced practitioners around you, then you're going to have to delve into your pocket and invest. And then number 4, do you have a plan? So I think a big difference between a personal trainer, fitness trainer, and a strength and conditioning coach is ultimately, as a strength and conditioning coach, largely due to the education platform of sports science. There's a deeper understanding of physiology, biomechanics, and ultimately we're striving towards adaptation and moving the needle of an athlete's performance. And at times that's going to be focusing on maintaining their strength and enhancing their energy system development. Other times it's going to be maintaining their energy system development and building and developing their strength and power. And there might be other periods where you're heavily focused on maintaining their loads and ensuring that they're staying available and ensuring their technique is really sound, and you're putting in solid recovery modalities in place to ensure the athletes are mitigating the effects of fatigue and really enhancing their level of freshness so they're able to perform at their best come game day. So whereas as a personal trainer, I know from experience, you're typically thinking of designing workouts. So does the workout flow in the environment that you're in? Like I've been a personal trainer at Fitness First Gym, and at 5, 6 p.m, the squat rack is going to be really hard thing to get your hands on. So what is plan B if you don't have access to squat rack? There's other scenarios, like I've worked in a CrossFit gym before, and as a personal trainer, and you're working in conjunction with that class environment. So making sure that you're not clashing with what the what is the workout of the day is, and looking and understanding that. So it's more of a understanding of designing a workout that's going to flow in your environment. That it's going to challenge the client. But also it's something that they're going to be engaged in, more so than thinking about what adaptation are we trying to chase here, and being objective with, are we improving their speed and looking at their max velocity over the last 12 months, for example, and using GPS in a private setting or working in one-on-one setting, or when you're a personal trainer, you're ultimately just working off feedback from the client, and are they happy with you as their personal trainer, largely. Obviously, if you're a strength and conditioning coach in private setting and it's one-on-one, very different. You have access these days to force plates, force decks, and that's that's what I'm sort of getting at to here. What's the difference between having a strength and conditioning hobby and a career? If strength and conditioning is a hobby for you, you're going to largely probably have a plan and wing your workouts. Whereas if your strength and conditioning is a career for you, you're going to be really objective and clear and have clarity around what's the big picture, and what's ultimately the best plan for that person that's in front of you, and in improving their strength, balance, speed, power, etc. So they're the 4 key areas to really understand whether you're treating your trade as a hobby or a career. Are you qualified? Are you invested? Do you have a support network? And do you have a plan? Hopefully that just started to stir on some thinking and some motivation. Perhaps you're sort of on the fence and you're leaning in towards more of in between the two, and you really want to make the most of your strength conditioning career, and you've recognized some areas that you can improve. I do offer mentorship as well. We've got 2 spots available in the month of August. So if you listen to this and you don't have mentors or colleagues around you that are helping you to improve, giving you feedback, and that's something you're interested in, jump into my calendar by booking a link. There'll be a link in the show notes where you can jump on there, and we can have a 15-minute discovery call around your goals, aspirations in your career, and how to maximize your time to realize your potential. Jump in there. Happy to jump on and see if we could be a good fit. Like I said, I keep my coaching spots pretty limited. We've got 2 available, and ultimately I work with coaches that either want to work in pro sport and that's their goal, and helping them with their first full-time contract, or they want to develop their own prepare like a pro, so to speak, an online business. And I'm happy to work out with those 2 goals. So if that's something that either of those goals resonate with you and you'd like some help, like I said, book a call or email me, and I'm happy to chat further. interviews that we've got on, and also some other episodes on the podcast that could be of value for you. So make sure from a podcast, if you are a strength and conditioning coach looking to treat your career with a bit more care, check out episode 119, LinkedIn Secrets. Check out episode 112, Elite Insights from Top Sports Professionals, and episode 108, How to Turn from Intern to a Pro. There's 3 episodes there. I'll add the links in the show notes so you can easily access those episodes. And our next Prepare Like a Pro interview will be with Dean Ritchie on the 15th of August, who worked at the Gold Coast Suns for a number of years, both in their gym program as well as their rehab. He's now working in the UFC. I'm so really looking forward to speaking to Dean. If you have any questions for Dean, feel free to send them my way, and I'll look to add them to the run sheet. And one of our Prepare Like a Pro Academy members, one of our coaches, Matt Newbold, he'll be on the podcast on the 29th of August, at the end of the month, discuss his journey in coaching. So looking forward to sharing his journey. And then our most recent Academy content that I've updated into our membership for members to look out for. I'll be designing and adding some more exercises to our plyometrics and agility framework. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And I've also got our lifetime value, a spreadsheet that I use that you can use in your business. So that will be our next Get Better Plan episode, the importance of tracking your lifetime value and a spreadsheet attached so you can start tracking all your different clients from the different services you offer. So if you've got an online business, make sure to join me live on that Get Better Plan, and I'll email out the Zoom link so you can jump on there. Of course, like all Academy members, if you can't make the live, I'll send you the recording. Thanks for tuning into this episode, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you on the next live chat.